Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Panchapakeshan from Delhi University. Today we are going to discuss about the module Quantization of Scalar Field, and this module is part of the paper on radiation theory. From this module, students may get to know about the following. They will learn the way time dependence in the formalism is shifted from state vectors to operators in different pictures of quantum mechanics. These two different pictures are called Schrödinger picture and Heisenberg picture. We also will learn how the commutators of operators bring in quantization and prevent the possibility of simultaneous measurement. Because when a commutator is there, then the two quantities involved cannot be simultaneously measured. We'll also learn to quantize the simplest field with one component, which is called the scalar field. We learn to go to the complementary space, or what is usually called the momentum space, and interpret the Hamiltonian in terms of creation and annihilation operators in this momentum space. We notice the symmetry of the operators when commuted and the characteristic of the Bose-Einstein statistics. In quantizing particles in quantum mechanics, in the Schrödinger picture, the wave function, or more precisely the state vector, carries the time dependence, and the operators are independent of time. The observations are given by the matrix elements of the operators taken between the wave function or the ket vectors, or they are alternatively given by the integrals of the operators between the wave function and its conjugate. The wave function has a time dependence obtained by solving the Schrödinger equation. This way of looking at the time evolution or a quantum system was referred to by Dirac as using the Schrödinger picture. We can use another approach in which the operator carries the time dependence instead of the state vector. This time evolution is carried by the operators, and the state vector or wave function is independent of time. This way of proceeding is referred to as working in the Heisenberg picture. When using perturbation theory, it is convenient to use a third picture called the interaction picture, where some parts obey the Heisenberg picture and some parts are in the Schrödinger picture. In this picture, the time dependence due to the unperturbed Hamiltonian is carried by the state vector, and the evolution due to the perturbed part is carried by the operators. We described the first two pictures below and discuss the third, the interaction picture, later when we use perturbation theory. Before we go on to the quantization of the scalar field, we would briefly look into what is usually called the Schrödinger and the Heisenberg picture, because there are two ways of looking at the dynamics of the wave function or the psi in quantum mechanics, and both are important. One goes after the names of Schrödinger and the other goes after the name of Heisenberg. In the Schrödinger picture, the state vector psi, or the ket vector as it is called, depends on time, while the operator OS, along with other operators, is independent of time. So the time dependence is carried by the state vector and not the operators. The operators don't depend on time. The equation of motion is the Schrödinger equation in the form IH cross ddt of ket of psi s is equal to Hamiltonian into ket of psi s. And the operator is given as the expectation value of OS. S stands for Schrödinger. So the operator in the Schrödinger picture, OS, if its matrix element between the ket and the bra, psi s, is given by integral of psi s star OS psi s dx, and this is expectation value or the matrix element. And so the matrix element has a time dependence, which is given by the time dependence of the psi s, the ket vector. And the time dependence can be written as ket of psi s t is equal to exponential minus I Hamiltonian times t, that is IHT, into the ket at the time equal to 0, that is psi s at the time t equal to 0. This is the solution of the time evolution of the Schrödinger equation of motion for the state vector, and of course its detailed solution will depend on the Hamiltonian capital H. In the Heisenberg picture, the time dependence is carried by the operators which satisfy the time dependent equation ddt of OH is equal to I by H cross commutator of Hamiltonian with OH. OH of course represents the operator in the Heisenberg picture. H is again the Hamiltonian. Psi h is time independent. The ket psi h is time independent, and psi h is identically equal to what the psi s was at time t equal to 0. That is, the Schrödinger ket was at time t equal to 0. The ket psi s at time t is given by exponential minus iht into psi of h. Or psi h can also be written as exponential iht into psi s of t. So this gives the crucial relation between the Heisenberg ket vector and the Schrödinger ket vector. The Heisenberg ket vector does not depend on time, but its time dependence is cancelled by the exponential iht and the psi st. We know that psi h can be written as u into psi s, or OH can therefore also be written as u os into u dagger, where u is a transformation. Using equation 3.6, OH will be equal to exponential iht into OS into exponential myht. This is how the two operators in the Heisenberg and the Schrödinger picture are related. And psi h and the matrix element of OH between psi h is given by the matrix element integral psi h star OH psi h d cubed x, which is equal to psi s exponential minus iht OS using the relationship given earlier, and we end up with the matrix element of psi s OS psi s. Or in other words, the matrix element, whether you take it in the Heisenberg picture or the Schrödinger picture, are same as it should be. This ensures that both pictures lead to the same predictions on matrix elements and therefore are equivalent. Quantization of the scalar field. Quantization is obtained by imposing non-commutativity. The main difference when going to quantum mechanics is the inability to simultaneously measure two physical variables like position and momentum. Mathematically, this happens as the two variables, often called conjugate variables, do not commute. So, to go to quantum mechanics or quantum field theory from classical physics, we have to impose non-commutativity on conjugate variables. In Schrödinger picture, the operators do not depend on time. In Heisenberg picture, this implies imposing commutation relations on the field operators and its conjugate at the same time. Thus, commutator of phi with pi is equal to IH cross times the delta function, or 1, or in a more precise form, phi xt commuted with pi x vector t is equal to IH cross into the 3-vector delta function of x minus x prime. This is the basic commutation relation between phi and pi, whereas the phi's commute with themselves and the pi's commute with themselves, but phi and pi, which are conjugate variables, do not commute and have a non-zero expression on the right-hand side of the commutator. This is the basic idea of quantization. This is called equal time commutation relations because both the operators and its conjugate are taken at the same time. From now onwards, we use the natural units where h cross is equal to 1 and the velocity of light c is put again also equal to 1. The operator at different times and at two different space points will commute. It is only the equal time commutator at the same space point which do not commute. Now we go on to the scalar field. The scalar field can be written in the form of a Lagrangian, which is equal to half into d mu phi minus m squared phi squared, whose Euler-Lagrange equation is given by dl d phi minus d mu of dd d mu phi of L equal to 0. This gives the equation of motion for this particular Lagrangian of the scalar field as D'Alembertian plus m squared of phi, which is a function of x vector prime and t, equal to 0. This is the famous Klein-Gordon equation. The conjugate of phi x prime t is pi x prime t, which is dl d phi dot, which is equal to dl d phi dot, which is equal to phi dot. So the commutation relation is phi pi is equal to I delta cubed, or phi x prime t commuted with pi x prime t is equal to I into delta function of x vector minus x prime vector. And if you take the commutator of phi with phi dot, because pi was nothing but phi dot, it's the same equation on the right, and you get I delta cube x minus x prime. All other commutators vanish. That is, phi phi is 0, pi pi is 0. Only phi pi, which also is the same as phi phi dot, is non-zero. Quantum oscillators in momentum space. It is much more convenient for most solutions and most of our discussion to go into the momentum space, sometimes called Fock space, and deal with creation and annihilation operators. The field then behaves like a collection of quantized harmonic oscillators. We expand the field as a Fourier integral over plane wave solutions. That is, phi x can be written as an integral over d cubed k, ak into fk, a dagger k into fk star, where ak will be later identified with annihilation operator, and a dagger will be identified with the creation operator, and fk and fk star, or the plane wave solutions, fkx is equal to normalization 1 over 2 pi cubed into 2 omega k square root times exponential minus ik into x. Classically, for real field, phi x, ak dagger are complex conjugate of each other. In quantum field theory, they become operators, Hermitian conjugate of each other. With kx, the 4 product, given as k mu x mu, which is equal to omega kt minus k vector dot x vector, and omega k, the energy, is equal to k squared plus m squared square root, but only with the positive sign. We don't take the negative sign. The square root goes only with the positive sign. Please note this. The presence of 1 over square root of t omega k is due to the covariant normalization, which we discussed below. The orthonormality relation also gets modified. We have fk star I d naught fk xt d cubed x is equal to delta cubed. And the d naught has a double arrow signal on top, which means that you have to take a d naught b with this double sign as a d naught b minus d naught a into b, or which is the same thing as a db dt minus dA dt into b. So this expression with 2 arrows on top is really combination of 2 terms. Equation 4.8 can be written, and you can then calculate fk star I d naught fk d cubed x, and you find that you end up with the value delta cube k minus k prime. In doing this, we of course have when we take the d naught, we get the term minus I omega k in the first term, plus I omega k in the second term, which combined with the other I in the picture will give you omega k prime plus omega k into 1 over 2 pi cubed exponential ik minus k prime, and the whole thing simplifies to finally the 3 delta function of k vector minus k prime vector. Covariant normalization is the next thing we have to get used to. This is in non-relativistic quantum mechanics, psi star psi integrated over d cubed x, or the total space volume, is equal to 1. The plane wave solution is psi is equal to exponential I k vector dot x vector divided by square root of v. If s is equal to psi star psi denotes the probability, then s integrated over the whole volume is 1, because the probability should be 1. Total probability has to be 1. But this is not Lorentz covariant, as the d cubed x is not invariant. Only the 4 volume d4x is invariant. So s integrated over d cubed s to be invariant must be a time component of a 4 vector. Then s d cubed x will be invariant if s is a time component of a 4 vector under Lorentz transformation. The 4 vector probability current is S mu I into psi star d mu differentiated both sides with arrow on top psi, which is equal to twice k mu psi star psi, if psi is equal to exponential minus I k mu x mu. So the normalization condition now changes in this 4 integral case to integral over twice k naught into psi star psi d cubed x is equal to 1. This is equation 412. So the normalization in the 4 volume case or the special relativistic case is different from the original one. Now we go on to the commutator of AK and A dagger K. To solve for coefficients in equation 4.6, we need another equation, and we use the expression for pi. Pi, of course, we saw was equal to phi dot in taking the time derivative of 4.6. Phi dot then is equal to integral over d cubed k I omega k minus akfk plus a dagger kfk star, and we get I omega k phi plus phi dot is equal to d cubed k plus twice omega k a dagger kfk star, and minus I omega k phi plus phi dot is equal to integral over d cubed k minus 2 I omega k ak fkx. Integrating 414 and 415 over d cubed x and using the fact that integral over 2 omega k of f star f d cubed x is equal to delta cube or k minus k prime, our 4 volume normalization, we get ak is equal to omega k phi minus I phi dot into fkx d cubed x, and a dagger k is equal to omega k phi plus I phi dot fk star x d cubed x. If you have studied the harmonic oscillator case earlier, you can see the relationship and the similarities in this case also. Using equation 4.6 and 4.17 and the commutator of phi and pi, we can calculate the commutators of AK and AK dagger. We find AK dagger is equal to delta cube of k vector minus k prime vector, and the other one, commutator of AK and AK prime, commutator of AK dagger and AK dagger k prime, they are all 0. The only non-vanishing commutator is that of AK with AK prime dagger, and that gives on the right hand side the 3 delta function of k minus k prime. AK and AK dagger are called annihilation and creation operators respectively, like we do in the case of the harmonic oscillator also, and operates on the vacuum or ground state to annihilate or create a particle of wave vector k, or momentum which is related to the wave vector by h cross times k, but since we have put h cross equal to 1 in our units, p and k have the same expression or the same value. The quantization of the field thus leads to states of particles of excitations. So the whole field is now converted into a combination of creation and annihilation operators, and the quantization over the fields goes over into quantization or commutators over of AK with AK dagger. Hamiltonian in terms of the harmonic oscillator creation and annihilation operators can be obtained by using the expression for the Hamiltonian half integral over d cubed x into phi dot square plus di phi squared plus m squared phi squared. This comes from the canonical expression for the Hamiltonian, which we gave earlier in the earlier chapter also, with phi xk given by d cubed k square root 2 omega k 2 pi cubed integral of ak e minus ikx plus ak dagger e ikx, and phi dot is given by the same integral with I omega k and minus ak exponential minus ikx plus ak dagger exponential ikx. The differential coefficient with respect to the space variable of phi is given by the same integral with I ki ak exponential minus ikx minus ak dagger exponential ikx. Now d cubed x into phi squared x, we can see when you do it, is of the form delta cubed into k minus k prime, which is, and omega k is equal to omega minus k. We have then the integral over phi squared gives us the expression d cubed k by t omega k, ak a minus k exponential minus twice I omega kt, ak dagger minus k exponential twice I omega kt, plus ak dagger plus ak dagger ak. And the integral of phi dot square is the similar expression, but we have now a triple integral d cubed x, d cubed k prime, 1 over 2 pi cubed, and with terms of exponential I k plus k prime, exponential plus I k plus k prime, exponential minus I k minus k prime, and exponential plus I k minus k prime. Carrying out the integration over d cubed x, this gives us a k into a minus k into exponential minus twice I omega k, a k dagger into exponential plus I 2 omega k, and minus a k dagger and minus a k dagger a k without any exponentials. Similarly, we can calculate delta phi squared, and we get the expression which is given by equation 5.7, that is d cubed k by t omega k squared a k a minus k exponential minus twice I omega k t, k vector square a k dagger a minus k dagger exponential plus twice I omega k t, then k vector square a k dagger a k and k vector square a k dagger. And the total Hamiltonian then adds up to give us an extremely well-known and nice expression, which is half integral over d cubed k of omega k into a k dagger a k plus a k dagger. Now, there is a very important point to note. Using the commutator of a k and a k dagger, delta which is equal to the delta cubed of k minus k prime, a k dagger minus a k dagger a k becomes delta cube of 0, or a k dagger is equal to 1 plus a k dagger a k. H, the Hamiltonian, then becomes integral over d cubed k with a factor half into omega k into delta cube 0 plus twice a k dagger a k, which is equal to, again, integral of d cubed k over omega k into a k dagger a k plus half of delta cube 0. H is equal to d cubed k into omega k into nk, where we call a k dagger a k as nk, plus half delta cubed of 0. N is the number operator. Now, eigenstates and metric representation. We have to solve hk equal to ek. Hk ket is equal to ek ket when h is equal to sigma k hk and hk is equal to nk plus half omega k. This implies solving the eigenvector equation. Nk ket is equal to small nk ket, and nk is of course the expression ak dagger ak. The eigenstates are given by nk 1 over nk factorial squared ak dagger raised to the power nk into 0k, where 0k is the ground or the vacuum state with no particles in it, and nk is obtained by operating with ak dagger on the state 0k with the coefficients nk minus 1 ket divided by nk. And ak taken between nk prime and nk is square root of nk into delta function of nk prime and nk minus 1, and the matrix element of ak dagger between nk prime and nk is square root of nk plus 1 into delta of n prime k and nk plus 1. The eigenstates have fixed number of particles given by the eigenvalue nk. The creation operators a dagger k raise the number of particles by 1. Annihilation operators decrease them by a factor of 1. So they are often called ladder operators, taking from one state of lower number of particles to a higher number of particles. The eigenkets are given by 1 and rest of the terms being 0 for each one of the terms. The operators can be expressed by their matrix elements between eigenbras and kets in the following way. We can put it in a matrix form. This is called the matrix representation of the creation annihilation operators. Two or many particle states and statistics. Bose-Einstein statistics, originally given by Bose and expanded by Einstein and now known as Bose-Einstein statistics, has a dagger k commutator is 0, and a dagger k1 into a dagger k2 is equal to a dagger k2 into a dagger k1, or in other words, two annihilation operators commute. So the state is symmetric in the interchange of the two particles when k1 goes to k2. When the wave function or state vector is symmetric under the interchange of any two particles, it is said to obey Bose-Einstein statistics. The particle or quanta or excitons are called bosons, named after Satyendranath Bose, who was an Indian and who, along with Einstein's help, gave the Bose-Einstein statistics for the first time. Fermi-Dirac statistics, BK dagger or annihilation and creation operators for fermions. Then they obey anti-commutation relation. We can also write them as ACR, which is BK dagger anti-commutation relation is by definition BK dagger plus BK dagger BK, unlike the commutator, which was BK minus BK dagger BK. Now this is what gives us delta function, K prime in the discrete case and delta cube K minus K prime in the continuous case. Passage from discrete to continuous is obtained by the expression given below. 1 by V sigma K goes to 1 over 2 pi cubed D cubed K, or V goes to 2 pi cubed and sigma goes to integral over the whole value. Now BB and B dagger anti-commutators vanish, they are 0. Therefore BK dagger is 0 and NK BK dagger BK is the number operator. NK squared, as we can see, therefore becomes BK dagger into 1 minus BK dagger BK into BK, and so it becomes BK dagger BK minus BK dagger into BK, which is equal to NK, which is equal to 0. Hence, NK squared is equal to NK, or NK into NK minus 1 is equal to 0. So, NK can be only 0 or 1. This is the usual Pauli exclusion principle obtained in a nice simple way, where we can have the number operator either as 0 or 1. It cannot be more than that. It is said to obey Fermi-Dirac statistics. The particles are called fermions. There are only two eigenstates, the 0 particle state and the 1 particle state. And the metric representation of the Fermi annihilation and creation operators are given by 2 by 2 matrices, which are BK is equal to 0, 1, 0, 0, and BK dagger is equal to 0, 0, 1, 0, and the number operators is 0, 0, 0, 1. And each 0 ket is 1, 0, and the 1 ket is 0, 1, or the eigenkets are the state vectors. In this module, we have learnt the way time dependence in the formalism is shifted from state vectors to operators in the different pictures. The Schrödinger picture gives you the time dependence on the state vectors. The Heisenberg picture gives you time dependence in the operators. We also learned how commutators of operators bring in quantization and prevent the possibility of simultaneous measurement of quantities, which is the crucial input of quantum mechanics. We also learned to quantize the simplest field with one component, the scalar field. We also learned to go to the complementary momentum space and interpret the Hamiltonian in terms of creation and annihilation operators at different momenta. Notice the symmetry of the operators when commuted and the characteristics of Bose-Einstein statistics. We found in Bose-Einstein statistics, they are symmetric when you change them. In Fermi-Dirac statistics, they are antisymmetric. Thank you.